Hey everyone, welcome to the channel about numerology. This is Eric. I know very little about a few things and not so much about many things. I'm basically a little bit like a physician, and they'll be able to help you out with a few things, but in general, they don't know a lot about healing or medicine, but they have their function. So this too, numerology is one of the tools, like I shared and explained in the previous video, where it describes something about your operating system. Astrology is another method. There are many, many schools of astrology throughout the world, and numerology, basically there's just really, well, there's a few. I know the Kabbalah also does numerology. System I've learned is a different one. It's basically pure mathematics. And to those of you who think, well, my neighbor is born on September 9, and that other neighbor is born on September 9, 1970. How can they be different? Well, or how can they be the same? Well, the thing is, this is just one part of the facet. Imagine you're like a diamond, you've got many, many flickering facets. And then numerology explains a little bit about your character according to numerology. And that's it, no more, no less. However, most people find it amazingly accurate, and I'm going to share with you in a minute about the different numbers that you have, which correspond to sun signs in astrology. So numerology, everything is brought down to a number between 1 and 9. And just like in astrology, you might have Aries through Pisces in terms of solar signs. There too, you have an ascendant, you have your moon, you have the different houses, you have different planets. So too numerology, if you bear with me along in the series that I'm going to be starting, will work out more and more details. So for starters, I was going to do a wonderful presentation so I don't have to stand here with slides, and so I can make a visual what I'm talking about. I haven't gotten around to that yet. And normally in Teams you can do like a share screen. However, here on my iPhone and my MacBook, no, this is not a commercial. I haven't figured out how yet. I've been too busy. So I'm gonna do it the old way, old-fashioned way. Hold up a sheet for you. Very funny, very amateur. Doesn't deter from the quality of what I'm sharing with you though. So let us dive right in and begin. You have 9 numbers, 1 through 9. Then you have number 11, 22, and 33. And those are what they call master numbers. Now the paradox is in numerology that you still kind of reduce everything to 1 digit. I forgot to mention 10, by the way. So for instance, if your birth date adds up to number 10, that would be, you do reduce that to a number between 1 and 9. So that would be 1 plus 0 is 1. Great. Okay, good. Got it. So let us, I'll start with showing you a little diagram, what this looks like. So in this picture, what you can see is somebody born, God, I have to read it mirrored, on 13th of September, 1997. It's very funny. It looks like Egyptian hieroglyphics. So what you do is you add up the 1 and the 3 and you get 4. Well, the 9 is under a 9, so that's, remains 9. And then the 1997, so the 19, the century, you count that as 1. So you add up 1 plus 9 is 10, is 1 plus 0 is 1. Now the 97, you add that up, 9 and 7 is 16. And then 16 is basically 6 plus 1 is 7. So what we get from left to right is 4 plus 9 plus 1 plus 7. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I wrote it the wrong way at first. Sorry about that. But that boils down to is the number 21. And then 21 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So in this case, your birth date, your life path, let me rephrase that, would be number 3. What are number 3 people about? So again, these are generalizations. You have to do the whole numerological chart to go more in depth, but we'll do that later. And I'll do it in a presentation so you can actually enjoy and relax and watch the screen and have it all spelled out for you. So number 3 stands for creativity, for self-expression, for fun, for attraction to the opposite gender. Now 3 individuals generally are the life of the party. They have a lot of friends. Basically, a 3-person is a little bit like a social sponge. So they really, really like to have a full agenda, and they want to be the ones that determine the content of the agenda. Now you could say, well, doesn't everyone? Yes, maybe. The thing, however, with numerology is what you've got to understand is that depending on your number, it highlights certain qualities and traits. So, and they're nice traits and they're less charming traits. So 3 people, as a rule, are extremely gregarious, fun-loving. However, one of their lessons is to learn to express themselves creatively. So you do find 3 people in the creative arts, whatever that may mean, because cooking is creative. If you're an accountant and you're really good at your accounting and you're saving your clients lots of money, then you're being creative as well, right? So there's such a stereotype view of being creative, like, oh, I'm going to painting, or, I'm doing pottery or whatever. Great as those may be, there's a lot more to creativity than that. And if you are, for instance, I'm not recommending this, but let's say you're a really creative cook, you're still being very creative, So anyway, there you have it. Now, one of the characteristics of 3 people is that they're very charming and very compelling. And also, they like to set the agenda, like I was saying. Now, this manifests typically, let's say I call you and you're a 3 person. And I say, look, you want to go for a walk tomorrow, or you want to go for dinner next week, or whatever. 9 out of 10 times, they'll be like, yeah, that could be nice. Backpedaling, yeah, that's a great idea. Let me check that out and, I'll get back to you. So basically you're kind of, you're coming with this, let's do this and that. And the 3 person will be like, and then before you know it, you'll actually be doing what they want to do, which could be your original idea, but 9 out of 10 times, it's not your idea, it's their idea. So to get a 3 person to actually commit to a social event is quite the accomplishment, because they'd rather have 3 in a night, and maybe they'll come to yours, maybe they'll stay at the 2 other ones, because, or maybe 1 other one, because that was more fun. That's 3 people. Now, once again, everybody's good the way they is. You're good the way you are, in case you're a 3 person listening to this. And we love you. Everybody is just made perfectly. So there you have it. So that's the 3 person. Now, I think to keep this short and sweet, I should leave it at this. I'm tempted to, go on about other numbers, but I'm just going to leave it at this. Upload this. I am waiting for my sushi, and I'm hoping wherever you are that you have a great, great evening, a nice weekend, or a lovely work day ahead of you, or work week ahead of you. And these are tumultuous times, and one could say, well, aren't they always, like Dickens said, they were the worst of times and the best of times. Well, they are pretty amazing times, and we are into eclipse season astrologically, which means we have a full moon eclipse coming up on the 14th of March. This is 2025. And then we have a solar eclipse, new moon, coming up 2 weeks later. And eclipses are usually like, I like to compare them to like, the program, the washing machine, everything's like, the clothing is just all over the place, and there's a lot of water coming in, and action, and spin drying, and that's eclipse season for you. And it happens here and here. So usually what you see is that people get quite restless, and if you look at the animal kingdom, they are very aware of eclipses. Like usually, especially on a solar eclipse, it's completely quiet. You don't hear a thing. Well, so the birds stop, everything goes quiet, because the whole animal kingdom, if you want, is just aware and very sensitive to the fact that something is really going on with the planets. So does it have an effect? Yes, because animals aren't capable of thinking. They're like, oh, dude, let's be quiet because it's eclipse season, because, contrary to humans, they have a very strong instinct, and they don't have a neocortex. So they just, they're very basic. They react. Another example, the tsunami in Thailand, the people who survived were the ones who watched the animals, because suddenly, you know, all these birds are like flying inland and, you know, these like elephants and monkeys and dogs and cats are all running one direction, you know. So anyway, so that's eclipse season. Now, 7 days before the eclipse and 3 days after is usually a period of high intensity, more turmoil, restlessness. So, you know, starting on the 7th, which is now, yesterday, you know, hold on to your seatbelts, stay calm. If you meditate, meditate. And if you don't, fine, but you know, do things to keep yourself grounded and clear. And if you feel like you're like, you know, like that as it gets close to the 14th or 2 weeks later, just realize it's the eclipse, it's okay, this too shall pass and you'll be just fine, okay? Like you know, the oracle says in the Matrix, you know, after you have your cookie, you'll just feel right as rain. So there you have it. This was it for now, and signing off, and lots of best wishes and have fun. And I'll be back soon with more numerology.